In a shocking upset, Zohran Mamdani beat Andrew Cuomo in the primary race to be New York City mayor. And all the wealthy white kids who voted for him were losing their effing minds. They were like, I'm just going to say what everyone else is thinking. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to New York City. Ever.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
I'm Bridget Phetasy, and this is your Dumpster Fire. Welcome to Dumpster Fire, where we make burgers out of your sacred cows. We premiere new episodes every Tuesday and Friday at 8 p.m. Central. Please join us in the chat. You're hilarious. If you love what we do, the best thing you can do is support us at Phetasy.com. You can see all the content that we're turning out, and it's a lot. All right. This fucking guy, Zohran Mamdani, who is the new mayoral candidate for New York City. The reason people were going crazy about Mamdani winning the mayoral primary is that, A, it was unexpected, although I don't know why you ran him against a guy who killed a bunch of people in nursing homes and sexually harassed a bunch of women, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Not the strongest candidate. He's also a guy that was governor, and so he acted like being mayor was beneath him and came in kind of all schmarmy and entitled and barely even made an effort and thought he just had it in the bag because he's an establishment Dem. And this young little whippersnapper was out there knocking on doors, and say what you will about socialists, but they know how to get out there and get the vote. They work hard for those young white kids on TikTok. They're savvy. Here's a list of just some of the things Mamdani has previously called for in tweets and elsewhere. Abolishing NYPD, abolishing prisons, abolishing medical bills, abolishing private health insurance, banning all guns, legalize sex work, safe injection sites, and cash bail, decriminalize drug possession and sentencing enhancements, end all cooperation with ICE. Spend $65 million on trans medical treatment, including for minors, freeze rents. He wants government-run grocery stores, he wants to get rid of gifted programs in the schools, you know, all that commie shit. It's all commie nonsense. It truly is. You guys thought we escaped the 20 teens and you thought we got out of 2020 and wokeness, and you're wrong. These are luxury beliefs. Always when you get rid of these things, it hurts the poor the most. And by the way, just based on who came out for him and voted for him, it was mostly the educated white people who voted for him. They've even shown maps of the gentrification vote where it's all the white kids and the white people who pushed immigrants and working class people out of their old neighborhoods and drove the prices up are the people who voted for him. And now they're worried about cost of living in New York City and why the prices have been driven up and immigrants can't afford to live there anymore. And you're look in the mirror, kids. His list of things that he's promising people, it sounds like someone running for middle school class president. Like, I'm going to get rid of detention. We're going to get rid of teachers, and I'll just teach ourselves in a group setting. We're going to have drum circles every day. You'll be able to smoke weed in the hallways. We're going to extend recess to 3 hours a day, and we're taking away math. And anyone too smart, we're not handling that anymore. We don't want to hear from you. You have to be quiet. We're going to lower the cost of candy bars and the vending machines, and free lunches for everyone. That's how it all sounds to me. Someone on X had the most perfect tweet about him. Mamdani is basically what would happen if you pulled some random kid out of the Columbia Hamas encampment and made them mayor. I mean, that's basically exactly what happened. As somebody who said, yeah, that's exactly what happened, only he went to Bowdoin. This is to say nothing of his failed rapping career. He wanted to be a rapper.
Bring the flavor to the fish, bring the flavor to the rice. Who's the number one spice?
Because, of course, all rappers want to be politicians. All politicians want to be rappers. All pundits want to be comedians. All comedians want to be pundits.
The number one spice, it's in the morning, I roll like a...
Bring the flavor to the fish. Bring the flavor to the rice. Who's the number one spice? I mean, with bangers like this, how could he have failed? So this is where all these failed theater kids go in New York, like AOC. They end up as politicians. It drives me crazy, too, because they're pretty good at it because they're charming and charismatic. The thing about socialism is that you have to be spoiled to even consider it. And New York is nothing if not spoiled. Basically, the guy won because he wants to get rid of stupid permitting prices, which is actually pretty libertarian of him, cutting a lot of the red tape, and drop the price of halal. He had a video about dropping the prices of halal and how Eric Adams has not talked to anybody about this.
New York is suffering from a crisis, and it's called halalflation. Today, we're going to get to the bottom of this. How much does a plate of halal cost right now from this truck?
$10.
Number one problem in New York City. Sure, people are getting stabbed on the subways and bleeding out because you're letting all the criminals loose, or you're just putting them back into society right after they try and stab someone or push them in front of a train. But let's be real, the price of halal is what's really top of mind for most of the New York City voters. But there is a cost of living issue in New York. It has become a playground for finance bros, tech, and obviously Nepo babies and trust fund babies. I actually didn't think that anybody could even afford to live in New York City unless they had rich parents. So I just assumed all those jumping white kids who were celebrating were also just kids who had trust funds, because who wouldn't be excited about socialism if you didn't have to worry about money? And if you didn't really have to even pay into it, because your parents are going to be the ones who pay into it. And let's be realistic. No one's going to drop the price of halal.
If you own the permit, then how much would you charge for the plate?
$7. $8.
If he does whatever he says he's going to do about the permits.
If I was the mayor, I'd be working with city council from day one to make halal $8 again.
They know the market can bear $10. They're not bringing it down. They'll pocket the profit, and good for them, as they should. They know New Yorkers are going to pay $10 for their halal. When have prices ever gone down on anything once we know what the market can bear? Just doesn't work that way unless it's something like eggs where the market couldn't bear it and then you run on it for president. I mean, maybe halal will come down just because he ran on it to be mayor. But I feel like he asked them all what the price used to be and then cut it into their answer of what they would drop it to, because who's actually going to say, hey, so if we get rid of this permit, what would you actually charge for halal? They're going to be like $7. Yeah, right. Of course you're going to say that when you're being interviewed. This was like a Daily Show skit.
Would you rather pay $10 for a plate of halal or $8?
$8.
I think $8 is the way to go.
He's very savvy. Here's the thing about this young little whippersnapper who's a trust fund baby or a Nepo baby or whatever we call them now. Back in my day, we called them trust fund babies, and now they're just Nepo babies. I don't know what the difference is. He is incredibly media savvy, as all these young millennials are. They say that he has a turnaround rate for his man on the street videos of less than 60 minutes because his team can just crank these things out, which, okay, yeah, my freaking 15-year-old nephew could crank these things out too. If you had a team of people, I would hope that would be the turnaround rate. That isn't like some, like, oh, you're making viral videos in 60 minutes? Wow, this is like Obama level. Everything on the left is still so astroturfed, and they were trying to say, like, look at how polished he is, and this went viral, and he's got this viral sexiness. They were trying to compare it to Trump's TikTok videos. I'm like, Trump's TikTok videos, that's all organic. The whole thing with Trump dancing, the Vance meme that never dies, those were all organic. It wasn't, it just like arose from the people. It wasn't like, this stuff is still polished and coming kind of top down and then being spread like, oh, look at this supermodel who thinks that he's so sexy. Well, yeah, of course that's going to get spread. I will think about voting for him if Emily Ratajkowski tells me to, because she is so insanely hot. I'll consider it for a moment. I'll at least look at the video. I also think we overestimate viral videos. People will be like, it got 8.5 million views. And as we've said before on here, yeah, 8 million of them were people jerking off to it. In this case, Emily Ratajkowski. Or because it's like people dunking on it or making fun of it. So 8 million views doesn't mean it's popular. But in this case, he did get on TikTok, as I think we should ban it. You know, it wasn't even like he got that many votes. I think it was a pretty small percentage of the actual electorate. This is a primary, but it wasn't upset. Of course, he was on the Breakfast Club talking about his plans.
Wherever you are headquartered, as long as you do business in the state of New York, you are taxable for that corporate tax. We're talking about corporations that are making millions of dollars, not in revenue, but in profit. And the second is taxing the top 1% of New Yorkers. We're talking about people who make $1 million a year or more, taxing them just by a flat 2% tax increase. And I know if 50 Cent is listening, he's not going to be happy about this. He tends to not like this tax policy, but I want to be very clear. This is about $20,000 a year. It's a rounding error.
But the way in which socialists and commies casually discuss spending and using and taking other people's money is infuriating. And only someone who never raised, built, earned any of their own money or started a company from scratch would be able to talk like this. Because somebody who actually built something from the ground up would never casually just talk about $20,000 being a rounding error. Get the fuck out of here. Even if you're rich, $20,000 is still a lot of money. I didn't think there were more self-hating white people than California, but New York could prove me wrong. Because finance votes Dem too. This could be a good thing. He could win. It could fail spectacularly. People could remember again why socialism doesn't work and learn our lesson, right? Wrong. Again, I defer to the California, where they continue to support disastrous policies and politicians like Karen Bass, who will probably win re-election after her city burned down and Waymos were on fire during protests. The Democrats are going to learn the wrong lesson from this too. They're going to think it means they need to go more in the direction of AOC. You can see them all salivating about this, and AOC being like, Trump is trying to pick a fight with me, because he did a long tweet that we'll get to. I'm annoyed that this is so good for AOC. The way people credit her, like they think she invented socialism. She never knew anything about socialism. She's just a bartender who heard about it. Maybe she read a book when she was in college, but like, come on, guys. Stop acting like AOC is like the Karl Marx returned. The most important thing we can take from this, in my opinion, and let this be a lesson to everyone who is running around saying that wokeness was dead. It's not dead. As we've said on this podcast, it's an ideology. You cannot kill it. It's been hibernating and it's waking up. It's rested and it's starving.
I haven't fed them for 7 days. They're ravenous. I wonder which parts they'll try first.
These kids have all been indoctrinated with the same message. This is the weird thing. Even though it's not top down with a lot of the viral stuff on the right, on the left, they don't need a real clear leader because they've all been indoctrinated with the same message. So they're like little revolutionaries that get activated when some charismatic ideologue uses the right buzzwords and phrases like queer liberation means defund the police or globalize the intifada, which is their true, like, activate the man, like they stand up the minute they hear that. Oh, I love rich kids for breadlines. Before our next segment, don't forget to like, subscribe, touch my bells and buttons, and tell your friends about us. Please help us reach our goal of 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And you guys have spoken. When we hit 100,000, I will do my best Mexican weather report. You have to stick around through the ad to see the weather report, you guys. Sorry, them's the rules. All right. Are you worried you have an STD? Perhaps you got it while you were partying with a bunch of Nepo babies. We've all been there. No one likes to think about STDs, but if you're sexually active, you should be getting routine STD and STI screenings to make sure you and your partner or partners, we're not here to judge, are safe and healthy. Now you can skip the doctor and buy your own STD and STI test online with Quest. QuestHealth.com offers comprehensive STD panels and individual STI screenings with several collection methods. These are the same quality lab tests that doctors use, available to you. Purchase a test from QuestHealth.com and visit a nearby Quest Diagnostics location for sample collection. No doctor's visit is required. Your results are delivered online, quickly and discreetly. STD testing with Quest keeps the results off your insurance, and you have the option to discuss them at no extra cost with an independent physician who may be able to prescribe treatment. So be responsible. Prioritize your health and the health of your partners with STD and STI testing on your terms. Visit questhealth.com today. Use the code Bridget to get 25% off and find answers to the multitude of health questions you may have. That's questhealth.com and use the code Bridget for 25% off. There's a link in the description below. Woo! Everyone's favorite part. Everyone's favorite part. Now let's check the weather with Diana Alvarado.
De igual manera a la baja, por lo que le muestro el pronóstico para los próximos 3 días. Y bueno, para el día mañana, sábado, 30% la probabilidad de precipitación continúa, la temperatura máxima en los 13 grados centígrados, la temperatura mínima en 1 grado y los vientos fuertes de los 40 a 42 kilómetros por hora, con rachas que pudieran darse hasta los 60 kilómetros por hora.
Thank you, Diana.
We're just starting to shop for her dress.
I'm going to get it when I'm in Los Angeles. All right, troll in chief. No one can match Trump. Nobody else can get away with saying the things that Trump says. They keep trying. The squad girls keep trying. They swear. They try to be bullies or mean girls, but they can't do it. There was an article in the New York Times this past week that came out that's been on the heels of many of the articles in a similar vein, like the left needs a Joe Rogan. Now they also need a Donald Trump, which is probably objectively true, but basically all of these articles are saying the same thing, which is that the left needs men. We've been saying it. Good luck getting them back. You just elected a not very manly man who talks about queers for Palestine and shit in New York, but that doesn't surprise me. The left does need a Donald Trump, but it can't be a girl, and they keep running girls against Trump, and he's still objectively hilarious. Just the funniest guy. He wrote a tweet after Mamdani won. It's finally happened. The Democrats have crossed the line. Zohran Mamdani, a 100% communist lunatic, has just won the Dem primary and is on his way to becoming mayor. We've had radical lefties before, but this is getting a little ridiculous. He looks terrible. His voice is grating. He's not very smart. He's got AOC +3 dummies all backing him, and even our great Palestinian senator crying Chuck Schumer is groveling over him. Yes, this is a big moment in our country, in the history of our country. AOC +3, is that code for Down syndrome? I don't know what it means, but it's just hilarious. Trump was dropping bombs, F-bombs. He was dropping bombs, actually. He was interviewed after Iran and all of the nonsense, and he announced that there was a ceasefire, and they were still kind of shooting rockets at each other. And he said they don't know what the they're doing.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
And he talked about how they dropped a load, the biggest load that we've seen.
The biggest load that we've seen.
Hey, phrasing!
Are we not doing phrasing anymore, Donald Trump? I am going to use that as a meme for the rest of my life. I do love Trump 2.0, for real. I'm not sure if it's like it's probably like my MAGA colored glasses, but I feel like he doesn't have the same chip on his shoulder. He's a little more just confident and relaxed, and he doesn't seem so angry. He's just kind of hilarious. And somebody on Twitter said when he was mad and he dropped the F-bomb, they said he wasn't even this mad when he got shot, which is actually very true. The NATO Secretary General referred to Trump as daddy in a very strange interview where they were Trump was talking to NATO about how they like to fight like schoolboys. And of course, that's just chum in the water for the internet.
Then daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
No one cares about the context online, but Trump was talking about two kids on a playground fighting. He was using that analogy to talk about Iran and Israel. And then the NATO guy said, oh, and then Daddy had to come in and use some harsh words. And then later a reporter asked him about it, and little Marco was dying laughing.
He called you Daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No?
But do you
He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Oh, little Marco. He's come a long way. In 2016, he was saying he was terrified that Trump would control the red button. Now he's laughing hysterically beside him as we try and de-escalate things in the Middle East. Trump didn't even seem fazed by it at all, by the way. He must get called daddy so often that it didn't even register to him as weird or funny.
Daddy, you're my daddy.
Just everyone's like, hey, Daddy Trump.
Yeah, I do think it's a common enough thing that he hears that he didn't even register.
Can we also talk about the fact that Elon and Trump broke up, and Trump has acted like it was crazy. Elon had his wild meltdown like a teenager. Not even I would say he had like those like 20-year-olds who have meltdowns on Twitter, and then they're like, oh, I probably said too much and back off of it. He had this crazy meltdown. He said he went too far after he accused him of being, on the Epstein's list. And Trump has, other than being like, I wish him well, very well, it's like never even come up again.
I know Trump took the high road on this, which I never even thought I would see.
Not only did he take the high road, it's even worse. It's like he went full, he's dead to me. He doesn't exist. It was like he doesn't even exist to him.
See, I'm not validating his bad behavior with either negative or positive response.
Oh, that's very interesting.
It's so not even mentioned. It's weird. I do think that he misses the guy, probably. That it's a weird, like it was so present and now it's just gone.
We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl.
Phetasy News. If you love Dumpster Fire, the best thing you can do is become a paid supporter at Phetasy.com. You get the unedited version of this Dumpster Fire, and we leave a lot of inappropriate things on the cutting room floor. You also get access to everything else we're doing, and it's a lot. Join us right here on YouTube every Tuesday and Friday night at 8 p.m. Central for a new Dumpster Fire. Thank you to everyone who helps make Dumpster Fire possible. Thank you, Ben and Kevin. Thank you to Quest for sponsoring today's episode. And thank you to all of you, watchers, viewers, supporters. We love you. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Bridget.
And now to cleanse your palate, the internet is glorious.
Welcome to The Secret Lives of Old People, a new reality show that takes you inside one of the country's most active senior living homes.
I came here to die quietly, but the only thing I've buried so far is 8 inches of rock-hard kielbasa.
I've had more fingers in me than a voting booth in Florida. I haven't felt this alive since Barry Goldwater dropped his daddy sauce on my chin.
I've busted more nuts in here than a Boy Scout troop locked in a planter's factory.
Hey, Karen, you ever been double teamed on a motorized stair lift?
How about I swing by later and murder your pussy?
Have you ever been teabagged so many times your breath smelled like gym socks and broken promises?
I know you've been hiding that 12-inch trouser python in your pants, and I'm ready to have its venom blasted in my face. Last Thursday, I pulled a train so long they named a goddamn Amtrak line after me.
Hey, Agnes, you ever been donkey punched so hard your dentures ended up in the next room?
Coming this fall, The Secret Lives of Old People. They've buried their spouses. Now they're burying the bone.
New York, do not vote for a commie, you f***ing lunatics. Jesus Christ. Remember, life is absurd. Don't take yourself so damn seriously. Take the work seriously. Don't take yourself seriously. This has been your Dumpster Fire. I'm Bridget Phetasy. It is 100 degrees in here. Now make me rich.